What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news. It is TWID day, so we get all the roundups coming via the Bungie blog for the week. We'll cover some updates and changes worth knowing about there, clarifications on upcoming weapon adjustments, plus Bungie teased there is a shader rework coming down the road, and we got a few other things to discuss in the video, so hope you guys enjoy it. As always, if you do, feel free to subscribe for more Destiny content, but without further delay, let's get into it. The first thing to touch on very briefly, but we did get a new Season 23 weapons preview yesterday. I've got a separate video on that. They talk a little bit about a Thorn rework and the new catalyst, reworks for glaives and exotics in general, as well as tuning for PvE damage on a bunch of weapons, snipers, autos, pulse rifles, and exotic changes too. So if you want to check those changes out, including a teaser for some mid-season 23 previews, and even stuff they'll be doing in the final shape and beyond, like a buff for Necrochasm, Truth, Colony, Deadman's Tale, and heavy grenade launchers. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, and I'll link that video down below. Another quick thing to mention here though, and Joe Blackburn from Bungie appeared on Dado's stream this week, and they confirmed that they are going to change shaders a little bit sometime in the final shape. So he said this is a very small reveal, there isn't much to talk about, but we've redone how the icons look in the final shape, and there's a whole other section of every shader icon to better describe the areas that are shaded. And they confirm it will show all 6 of the colours, and they'll be presented on the new icons, which will be organised a bit differently from how they are right now, and the more prominent areas take up more prominent parts of the shader, with little hidden colours represented in that icon as well. So there will be a rework for how they appear. Obviously it doesn't look like it will change how shaders actually function on pieces of gear, but the previews themselves will be adjusted, which sounds positive. Give us your thoughts about that, but another very brief mention, and this month's Prime Gaming bundle drop is now live and available to claim, and it includes some Festival of the Lost loot, the Boo exotic emote, Winchester's Ruin exotic Sparrow, the Lycan's Mire legendary ghost shell, and the ominous ghost projection as well. So if you signed up for that, it can now be claimed. Next up though, let's get on to the TWID portion for the day. And firstly, they talk about the Vault. It will finally be getting some kind of an update coming in Season 23. And they say, show of hands if you've been that Guardian who's been jamming to some tunes while your friends organise the fire team, only to at the very last minute, just as the raid is about to start, remember you left something in your Vault and need to drop by the tower. And so if that's your hand we see waving around frantically, don't worry, there's some good news, and starting in Season 23, we'll be able to access the Vault from orbit. And they say they hope this update will make it easier for all Guardians to update their build ahead of the start of an activity. But on top of that, they're exploring additional areas to give more freedom to access the Vault in-game for potential future releases. But that's something they'll have to keep us posted on. So not necessarily the change we were anticipating. A lot of people also use item managers and things like that, but if you don't use them, or in the instances where they're not available, it's certainly a good quality of life change to be able to grab stuff from the Vault from in orbit. So that's something, give us your thoughts below. Once again, that will drop in Season 23. On top of that though, there are some other Season 23 changes here, and they point out they've been talking a lot about economy changes over the past several months, and while more tweaks are on the way, they say they want to give us a quick chat about ghost mods and where they're at. Bungie have said they've got the economy team here to offer some insight into more changes ahead for ghost mods coming in Season 23, and these will be the new energy costs for the mods on screen. So for Combo Detector, there'll be an energy cost of 1 down from 5, Wombo Detector is 2 down from 6, and Mobility Armorer goes from 3 to 2, Resilience Armorer from 2 to 2, and Recovery goes from 4 to 2. Strength Armorer will go from 3 to 2, Intellect Armorer from 4 to 2, and Discipline goes from 3 to 2 as well. But Core Harvest will be from 4 to 1, Prism Harvest goes from 6 to 3, with Modularity going from 4 to 3, and Prosperity costing 3, and they finish by saying, as the mathematically inclined among you may have already noticed, this means you'll have a lot more options for how to set up your ghosts while keeping those high value XP mods slotted. But finally they say we're planning to check in with what ghost loadouts you choose to rock as you head through Season 23, and we'll use that information to plan further tweaks and upgrades to the system down the line. So a somewhat small but positive change right there. And next, even better, we get a check-in with Raul. And they say when we've brought up pricing changes in the past, we've seen some mention that it can be frustrating that Raul just doesn't make change happen when talking to him, particularly when there's a big stack of enhancement prisms, but the amount of enhancement cores is lower than desirable. And so they talked to the Cryptarch and have said he assured us that material fission was indeed possible, but the laws of thermodynamics necessitate a loss of matter, or something like that. And long story short, starting in Season 23, he can now break down 1 enhancement prism into 5 enhancement cores for 2,500 glimmer 3 times a week. So in terms of a summary for all of the updates, You can see we'll have that purchase option 3 times a week for all of these, and acquiring an enhancement prism costs 10 enhancement cores and 2,500 glimmer, which was previously 10,000. The glimmer cost has also dropped for ascendant shards, down to 10,000 from 50,000, but again importantly we can purchase all of those 3 times a week. They say though, the economy team will keep an eye on inventories and glimmer wallets to decide on if these numbers need additional changes, but they'll also have more to share on the wider Destiny 2 economy in the near future. So I think that's a good change a lot of players will be pleased about. Let us know your thoughts down below. But they also have a note here from the product security team, and they talk about the connection between carry services and cheating, stating that there's an increasingly clear relationship between boosting services and cheating. Primarily boosting and paid carry services frequently resort to cheats to churn through as many customers as fast as possible, and after those customers are churned through, the carry service will then sell the account credentials to other bad actors. Cheat developers in turn will use packs of stolen accounts to evade bans and enable further cheat development. And ultimately, services that offer to skirt the integrity of the game are not likely to be trustworthy with a player's account and personal information. In addition to the untrustworthiness of the services, they also are against the terms of service of Destiny and end up as the basis of a permanent ban on the account. So they're reminding players to protect their accounts, avoid using account recovery or cheat services obviously, and finally they say saying that your fingers were not on the keyboard when the cheating occurred will not help you in an appeal. So obviously players should just keep that in mind, and yeah, it's certainly true that you shouldn't trust anyone else with your information, and the potential that they could be cheating on your account. So certainly something to think about if you've considered boosting services. I know the majority of you guys won't do that, but there are extra links and info about that stuff in the TWID. Finally though, they do point out that Festival of the Lost concludes at the weekly reset on November 7th, so players should claim any completed objectives and available rewards from the event card prior to the conclusion of the event, as they'll no longer be available once it ends. Otherwise, there are also some new known issues right here, and these are the latest issues that were reported and recognised by Bungie, but occasionally they say killing Crota when his wipe timer expires will grant loot, but won't count as a raid completion. On top of that though, in haunted sectors, spawn dialogues for headless ones and summoning circles will sometimes overlap each other. Plus, the Icarus Dash aspect is missing part of its description, and they say it should also include, while airborne, rapidly defeating targets with your super, or any weapon cures you. So those are just some new ones on the list right there. There is a link for the full known issues list. So if there's anything you want to check up on, you'll find that in the TWID linked in the description box. There's also a big section in the TWID of Festival Guardian screenshots that folks in the community have sent in. Some pretty cool stuff there, as well as some custom Destiny pumpkin carving, which is really neat as well. And there are cosplay and other items there too, so if you want to check those out, they'll be in the TWID linked below. But for today, give us your thoughts on what they've covered. A couple of positive changes come in for Season 23, but if you've enjoyed the video, a rating below really helps us out. Also be sure to get subscribed if you want to be kept up to date with more Destiny content. But otherwise, I will catch you guys very soon.